The 2021 NBA season has been absolutely insane, to a degree where I don't even know what to think of anything anymore. It's just been complete random batshit crazy stuff. So many teams and players are exceeding expectations, and just as many are failing to meet expectations, some even by an extreme degree. I mean, Julius freaking Randle is an all-star. No way in hell I would have ever predicted that. And the Chicago Bulls are currently higher in the Eastern Conference standings than the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. What is going on? So many things about this season are just complete batshit, and I just wanted to kind of summarize my, frustration with the randomness of this entire thing, for what that means for me and my job, and just how weird this experience has also been just as an NBA fan. So let's talk about the entirely insane 2021 NBA season. Before I continue on with this video, about half of the people that watch this video are not subscribed, so if you fall into that 50%, then subscribe so you can see these videos in your sub box. Also drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second and it makes a massive difference. Also, 2 quick things to promote. First of all, newest NBA deep dive should be out over on my Patreon by now, so go support me over there for content early. Otherwise, the deep dive will be out tomorrow. And also, there's a new podcast out, so go check that one out. So let's talk about some of the positive craziness. First, I have to talk about the Chicago Bulls, because that is what I do. I always find an excuse to talk about the Bulls. Basically, I'm actually not going to go in too much depth because I have talked about them so much on the second channel, and I just did a video on Zach LaVine and the Bulls in the last video, which also tanked, so go watch that if you haven't yet. But this team has been great. Like, despite injury, despite having a couple of games where players are just going off against the Bulls, 2 game winners being hit against them, they stand as the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. This off of the back of Zach LaVine's insanity, as well as the fact that they have a competent NBA coach, a decent supporting cast of vets, and some young guys who are bringing in contributions. That being said, the Bulls being the 6th seed is not something I expected. I think I ranked the Bulls as like the 24th, 23rd best team in the NBA in my power rankings. And that's because I didn't expect so many teams in the East to be as bad as they have been, but we'll talk about that in a second. The New York Knicks have been a respectable basketball team, and I believe they're also currently in the playoff seeding right now. At the very least, they're in the play-in tournament. Julius Randle is an all-star. I don't know what his stats look like now, but I know earlier on in the season at the very least, he's averaging like 8 assists per game. He keeps making these mid-range jump shots despite the fact that I never think they're going in. He's making threes on occasion. This is just a very good season from him. I never saw all-star ceiling for Julius Randle. I always thought he was a perpetually empty stats guy, but he's been awesome for the Knicks this year, and it's led to winning basketball. And there's other things with the Knicks. RJ Barrett's been better this year. Derrick Rose is on the team. Emmanuel Quickley has been an amazing rookie. Tom Thibodeau's coaching has led to one of the best defenses in the NBA. This is just all around a big success story in the NBA right now. The Knicks are not horrible, and that's kind of nuts, because they have been horrible for literally all but my first year of being an NBA fan. As for some non-team stuff, I never in a million years expected James Harden to be on the Nets. Like, I know that was one of the biggest rumored teams, but I was so confident that he was going to the Sixers. I even made a video that was James Harden for Ben Simmons. That trade is inevitable. Clearly it wasn't, but I was like, that's just so clearly the obvious trade. That's what's going to happen, right? Nope, he was traded to the Nets for every first-round pick that exists. I was not ready for that. I was not expecting that whatsoever, so it's nice to get a little bit of a twist, and at the very least, that Brooklyn Nets team is going to be fun. Hopefully they don't figure out defense to the point where they're just unbeatable, because if they even get a league average defense, they're pretty much unbeatable. And then another big surprise this year is that Lamelo Ball is like very good already. Now, for a lot of draft people, it's not surprising that Lamelo was really good. I had my doubts based on almost no knowledge, which is why I don't give opinions, because I have almost no knowledge. But just the shooting splits that he had overseas, I was like, I don't know about that guy. But I also knew his playmaking and his defensive potential and just how good of a ball handler he is. And I was like, he's at the very least going to be very good. But honestly, how LaMelo is playing as a starter is pretty much what I kind of anticipated his ceiling being, and he's doing this at 19 years old. And it's also been a winning formula, as the Hornets have been winning with LaMelo starting, and they're also in the playoff picture right now. So LaMelo Ball, like, very, very good early, and I've said, even now that I'm seeing him in the NBA, I think he has top 5 player in the league potential one day. So yeah, LaMelo Ball's been fucking bonkers as well. But now let's talk about some crazy shit on the negative side of the spectrum. So like I said, the Bulls are the 6th seed, and that is awesome to me. But at the same time, why is a team that is 15-16 the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference? Like, that is really, really, really bad. Why is the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference 500 right now? 500 gets you the 4th seed in the conference. That is horrible. And it's not like there's been just some crazy talent dip between conferences. In fact, you could even argue that the East gained more talent than they lost in this previous offseason. I mean, they got James Harden, and there weren't too many other major moves outside of that. So why the fuck is the East so much worse this year? Like, you got the Boston Celtics, the Wizards got Russell Westbrook. You have the Wizards, who are incredibly disappointing. The Hawks got so much deeper. They were supposed to be better. They have been disappointing, mostly due to injury, but still disappointing. I don't know if I said the Heat, the Boston Celtics as well. That's mostly on the Marcus Smart injury. I strongly believe that that's the main reason why, because of how impactful Marcus Smart is. May or may not be a deep dive topic one day, but don't worry about that. But Jesus, like, all these teams are so bad. The Toronto Raptors, I didn't even mention them. They're kind of figuring it out. The Heat are also on a 4-game win streak, so I think things are coming back to normal for the most part. The Wizards are like 5-1 in the last 6, something like that. They're getting better. And the Hawks, they just demolished the Celtics. The Celtics, they're not looking good right now. They're the 8th seed in the East right now, so that's rough. But all of these teams playing so bad, like, I can't even be all that hyped about the Bulls being the 6th seed, because it's mostly just because all these other teams have been dog shit. Like, the Bulls have been much better this year. They're 1 game below 500, which is great. But shit, man, this team should not be the 6th seed in this conference. Like, to put this into perspective, the 15-16 record would have us as the 10th seed in the Western Conference, from 6 to 10. That is bad. There has always been a conference imbalance, but this year there are so many teams in the East underperforming that it's actually pathetic. And you would think that this would, swing in a direction for some other teams. I don't know, I guess there are a few teams in the East that are surprises. I'm not surprised by the Hornets being decent. I always thought that would be the case. I'm not surprised the Bulls are decent. I thought that'd be the case as well. I just thought there'd be so many good teams in the East, they wouldn't be able to be as high as they are. And really the only team that's really surprising to me is the Knicks. So there's not been an equal amount of, oh, this team is coming out of nowhere that we didn't expect, to match the, holy shit, this team is a lot worse than we expected. Almost every team that's gotten worse hasn't had any major shift in personnel. And actually, there's really none across the board. The Miami Heat, nothing big. Toronto Raptors, they added Aaron Baines. Chris Boucher got a little bit better. They also lost Serge Ibaka, so yeah, I guess that's a bigger one. Miami Heat stayed the same. Celtics stayed the same. Yeah, it's just not, doesn't make any fucking sense. But back to a more positive thing. Talent in the NBA is as insane as it has ever been. I'm not doing it again. Look, there are no all-star stubs. I can't talk today. Look, there are no all-star snubs this year. There are many players that are incredibly talented, that are all-star caliber talents that did not make it, but because the NBA is as talented as it is, they rightfully did not make the all-star team. That's not to say that they're undeserving, it's just to say that there are more players more deserving ahead of them, which is insane. Like, last I checked, there are 35 players in the NBA averaging 20 points per game. 30 fucking 5. Do you hear that number? 35 averaging 20 points per game. And the NBA right now has 5 teams that are running for the greatest offensive rating of all time. the top 5 offenses right now would be the top 5 offenses of all time. Jesus Christ. This season, it's kind of frustrating. So I mentioned earlier in the intro, like, what this means for my job. I kind of put it in quotes because I'm just fucking talking about basketball. Yeah, it's what pays the bills, but like, I don't know, it's weird. But like, fuck me. How can I talk about this season? Like, every video that I'm doing on my second channel where I do post-game reactions, I'm just like, I don't fucking know, dude. You explain this to me. I'm struggling to make videos because I like, how do I say I don't know over and over and over again? Luckily, the deep dive series has me like able to come up with stuff that doesn't really rely on the current moment. But shit, there's just so much randomness. I'm trying to sift through and understand it. It's just been a gigantic clusterfuck across the board. Some positive, some negative, but shit, I don't know. And it is also bothering me that I'm seeing a lot of people call out takes, not just from myself. Really, actually haven't, relative to what I normally get, it hasn't been too bad for me. But I'm seeing people like call out former takes of other NBA YouTubers or NBA personalities, like, oh, look how well this aged. Dude, if you can find somebody who has given out dozens of takes and they're even 70% accurate for this season, then that's freaking Nostradamus, because there is no fucking way that anyone who made a bunch of predictions is coming out with a very positive record right now. Like, so much shit, completely unpredictable. Even if you did predict something that no one really saw coming, there's no way you predicted all of the things that nobody saw coming. Yeah, this season, I just don't know what to make of it, man. I don't know what to make of this video either. I just know that I've been feeling this way about this season. I had to express it in some way or another. So yeah, that's what this video is. But yeah, that's all I had to say. Real quick, I'm actually going to ask Rudy, can you edit in a podcast clip so that people go watch the podcast? I'm gonna let you choose. Don't do something that embarrasses me. He's gonna do something that embarrasses me, and I'm probably blue right now. But yeah, clip right now. I feel like people hear Southern accent and they think, when you talk like this, but like, there's
PTSD, bro.
So go check out that podcast if you have not already. That is going to be linked in the description and in the pinned comment. But yeah, also Patreon deep dives on that. Yeah, that's it. All right. Shout out to Rudy for editing this video. And that is the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.